Okay, we're live. Okay, good evening, everybody. Today is August 11th, 2020, and it's 5 p.m. Actually, it's 5:10 p.m. We're going to call the meeting to order. As a primary matter, my name is Dave McDonald, the chairman of the Sewer Commission. I will do a roll call to confirm that all members, persons, participants of the agenda, and recent can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please just say hi. Mike is coming in late. John Reynolds.
Here.
Brett.
Here.
Kyle Luck is absent tonight. Jack.
Present.
Bob.
Here.
And we have Jane in the back up in the corner taking our notes. The introduction to the remote meeting. The town of Lunenburg is in response to the COVID-19. Look, I have my glasses. It's currently following the guidance of the Lunenburg Board of Health, Massachusetts, and Department of Public Health and the CDC regarding the virus and steps that the communities can take to prevent the spread. All town facilities are open by appointment only. In accordance with the governor's orders suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, all public meetings will be conducted remotely. In order which you can be found posted at the town website or on our COVID-19 information center page, access through the town manager. Web pages allow public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as is reasonable public access is afforded to those the public can follow along with the deliberation of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Sewer Commission is conveying by video via the conference hall of Zoom app is posted on the town website identifying how the public may join. For items of public comment, ask members of public comment. The chair will first ask the public who wish to speak and identify their names and addresses. Once the chair has listed all the public commenters, I will call back on each name and then afford 3 minutes for the comment. Anybody have any questions on that? First item for the agenda is announcements. Go ahead, Barb.
Once again, on irrigation meter customers, irrigation meters have to be upgraded by the homeowners, working with their own plumbers to be able to be read remotely as of September 1st, 2020, in order to continue to remain in the program. Also, $50 fee to remain in the program was due on June 4th. I have 12 accounts that have not submitted the fee for FY20 and therefore will not receive any irrigation credit on the upcoming sewer invoice. That's all.
Does any board member have any comments on that?
No.
The only thing I can tell you is that once you have sent them the bill, I'm sure those 12 people are going to be calling you.
Sorry.
Everything okay? All right. Once they get their bills, those 12 accounts will probably notify you.
Right.
Okay. Is there any public from the public? And I see nobody on my end. Barb, do you see anybody on yours?
Nope.
Okay, any public comment from the board members? John?
Dave? Oh,
No.
Any public comment?
No.
Okay, Brett?
Dave?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm public or I'm certainly not commission, but
No, I'm going.
once you get through the commission, I'd like to have a comment.
Yeah, I'm working my way out here.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, Brett?
No
Any
comment.
No comment. Okay, Jack, go ahead.
Okay. Now this probably is borderline agenda item, but it's really not. So I kind of struggled with putting it on the agenda, but I'll just shut up and give you the comment. We scheduled some jetting of the lines recently that we had put off from the last fiscal year, and part of it that Al had suggested we do.
Yep.
And so we had our vendor do that. It's probably 2 weeks ago now. Found that in the Dana Street station, which Al suggested we do, pump it down. It was the obvious thing, COVID related wipes and whatnot, which are raising havoc with the pump stations. And so I'm going to suggest to the commission and move forward on getting all those pump stations cleaned out. They weren't supposed to be done until October, but we're going to do that now. because once that stuff gets tied up into the impellers, it can damage the pump. Secondly, the jetting was successful. Barb keeps me on a schedule with Town Hall because it's up at the high end of a line and there's no push, so we do a preemptive strike there. Also at the top of Sunny Hill Road and over at the police station. All those places, even though they may not be high, are at the top of the line, and so there's no effluent behind them to push things down. And in each case, we found that it was necessary to do it, and you know, we're on the right track with that. Additionally, we did a piece over on Summer Street where Graham comes into Summer, because we had a shear in the pipe. If you remember, the trailer park was backed up, so we did that as sort of a, you know, a look-see, and we didn't find anything, so that line is good to go. There's no stone or any blockage in there. But when we did the interesting thing is when we did the line from the police station down to the first pump station, it was loaded, and we jetted it out. We had 2 trucks. We didn't just push it down the line or into the pump station. We jetted it and sucked it out before it got to the pump station. And then we went up from that pump station up to Chestnut Street. And this is where it gets very interesting. These people are very good, very hands-on, if you will, and noticed that there was a lot of sand coming in somewhere between the pump station, which is across the old doctor's office, and Chestnut Street. So his suggestion to us was that we camera that line because it's likely we may have a leak or a shear there or something. So we're going to plan to do that. But the point of the whole story, if you will, is that when we're looking for I&I, and this goes to another agenda item, so I want to tiptoe around that. It seems to me the best bang we have for our buck is getting on a jetting program, a more extensive jetting program, where our money will be spent not only on cleaning the lines, but it may become obvious where we do have a problem. For example, the sand coming in. So, you know, I'll give you my 2 cents on the I&I program of would it incur and at the appropriate time. But I did want to let you know that we'll be looking to camera that line, and that's how these things are going to be found. So it's good practice to do more jetting, and it's also as a added attraction. We may find some problems in the line, which is what we did. We also found that all those manhole covers that are giving everybody fits on 2A, there could not be more shoddy work that was done. As we opened every manhole, there was a pile of cement, asphalt in the trough of the invert, and these folks cleaned it out. But where we thought we were going to have a good deal going by giving them the frames and covers and having them install it, I can't tell you how lousy the job is. So that goes to my second public comment, which is really asking and telling the commission that we're going to start repairing those covers. I mentioned it to you, Dave, at the end of last year, and they're really getting unbearable. Really, it's a real black eye. So sorry for the extensive public comment, but it wasn't on the agenda, and I thought you folks should know.
Appreciate it, Jack. Thank you.
You know what, if there's comment on Jack's comments, we're going to talk about it on the RFP status under station operations and maintenance. So if anyone has any questions, put a little star next to that, and we'll bring them up at that point. Anything else, Jack?
No, that's all. Thank you.
One of the things is my public comment is last week, you weren't here, I made a comment and wanted to thank you for your time and effort. Hold on one second, I'm sorry. One of the things, I wanted to thank you for your time and service for the, not only the sewer commission, but as for the town of Lunenburg. We know you're retiring someday near in the future. Hopefully it's further in the future, but I just want to again, thank you personally for everything you've done, not only for me, but for the town and for the sewer department. And you and I are good friends, and we don't see eye to eye sometimes, but it's always because we want to do good for the town. And that's what I like about working with you. We argue sometimes, but to make it better, not to make it worse. So from my heart, I just want to thank you for everything you've done. And, you know, we'll always be friends. So that's all I have to say about that at this point anyways.
Thanks, Dave. It looks like it's going to be a couple of months, but yeah, it'll be sooner rather than later. But thank you very much.
Well, anybody else want to mention any of that, you're more than welcome to before we proceed.
I do want to say, I would like to say that Jack will be sorely missed.
Hey, I'm not gone yet. Told you know, I'm not gone yet. You're going to be
Will
stuck
be.
with me for a
Will
while.
be.
All right.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Brett.
Okay,
Yeah, Jack, I think I was in town when you first came here. I know you've done a lot. Appreciate it. You've helped me out a few times. My only suggestion is leave before the snow comes.
Yeah,
That's
plan.
not a criticism, just you know
No,
how
no,
miserable it is.
that's the plan, John. It's just a little difficult now getting all the paperwork together. I mean, it's obviously something I've never done before, and just as we're doing these Zoom meetings and they're very cumbersome, you can only imagine how cumbersome it is working with, you know, the government agencies, the retirement board, Social Security, Worcester Probate. So I want to make it seamless for my family, and a couple months, I think. A couple months. Thank you.
hey, current business. Go ahead, Barb.
All right, everyone should have gotten both the draft Woodard and Curran report, and also I just sent out Carl's input towards the draft report. So we have that. I don't know if we want to review again. Last meeting we discussed the scope of the contract, and Carl did send us a couple highlighted pages that show that in fact the business tool was part of the plan. At the time when it was part of the plan, it was not having a major changeover. We were I think it was more the discussion that we would share what our current output is. And since it's gone on a while now and we need to do the meter import, I have been reticent of giving them the current billing file because I knew it was going to be obsolete. So we're still stuck on that. It's timing we're working with, because that meter import project is going to take some time, and I don't know if we want to hold up the whole Woodard and Curran report for that one item.
So what we have in front of us, and if you look at the scope, we like to break it down real by more category than anything else. I know Carl sent out his report today to us, which you guys should have just got 10 minutes ago. So I don't expect you guys to read all that tonight, but let's go through what we know. And what we know is that the contract with Women and Curran is coming close to an end. In that scope of work, there was a new metering system or a new billing system. I've talked to Heather and Barb, and here's my feel on that. It really wasn't required to be part of this. And Jack, let me know if I'm wrong on what I'm trying to say, and John too, because I know you're a part of it. If we had it in place, you can evaluate it. We don't have it in place. I really don't want to rush this, put it in place, and find out it's not going to work. So talking with Heather today and talking with Barbara, I think we should start doing it. We did get the extra hours for Jane to help Barbara do this project. But do it as a project, you know, don't do it because we got to get it done by Thursday. I've worked with a lot of companies where you just don't implement something this fast overnight and expect it to work. So Barbara, is there any kind of testing that we can do or before we go live with this new billing?
There will have to be testing for certain. I wanted to get a good sum of meter IDs input before we tried. We use the Munis billing system, and we have a live database and we have a training, and I would be able to do the test in the training so as not to affect any current billing. But it was just trying to get a decent number of meters in order to start that process.
Again, we don't want to jump off the bandwagon and do this and find out that we have some bugs in the system. Again, my opinion. So I just want to know, Brett and John, what are your thoughts about that? And we're just talking about the billing part of it.
My first question would be, we're talking about the Northern Data software, obviously.
Right.
Okay. My first question would be, do we know of any other towns in the area using this system? Can the company refer any to us that are currently on it, and we could contact them somehow, get their opinion on it, and get some kind of feel for it?
On Northern Data or on Munis?
I'm sorry?
On the Northern Data portion or the Munis billing portion?
Well, both portions is what we're working with, right?
I'm sorry, say the first part.
Is it all one or the other, or is it both we're going to have installed?
I don't understand the question, because we have, NDS would have certain amount of customers.
I think what Brett is trying to say is that we already have Munis and we're working that system now.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So we know how that works, but when Brett is saying when you introduce the other factor to it, how is that going to work? Is that right, Brett?
Yes, what I'm getting at is, obviously, like you said, we want to test this new software.
Yes.
My question is, do they have other customers
Yes.
where it's been tested and we could potentially get their response on their feel for how it's worked for them? Is it a difficult system? Are there bugs in the system that they've dealt with?
And I know we had done all the research in order to pick NDS originally. What I don't know, and I'm pretty sure I have names of towns that have used that meter import into Munis. The problem, and I can reach out to them for certain, but as far as like using the billing data report from that town may not work, because every town's kind of code for Munis is different. So our import may not be the same as Hamilton or Northampton or something. So, but I can talk to them about how they like using it. But we had done all that research more than a year ago when we picked NDS to do this. And we picked NDS because that is the company that the water department uses.
Okay.
So could
That
you,
answers my question.
so I guess a question that, well, let's go. John, what are your comments? Because I think you might have been involved in this, right? A little bit.
Well, yeah, it would definitely is something I think we need. I understand we have manpower issues, but I hate to think this is something that's going to be put off forever.
No, and as far as, that's why we had to get permission from Heather to allocate the extra hours to have Jane come on board to do this.
Right.
So I don't think anyone's saying let's not do it. I think everyone's agreeing we got to do it. But I want to make sure that we're going to do it. Two things is our contractor waiting for results from this to give us our final report, which I don't think that was part of the intent of the contract. And two is, if we're going to do it, let's do it right and test the system before we go live with it. So I guess those are my two concerns. Go ahead, Brett.
Well, earlier I read in their contract that they were going to be doing 1 day of training on a new system they would plan to install for Barbara specifically. Yep. Number one, I'm wondering if 1 day is enough. Number two, is that doesn't really answer our question either, but it's, it doesn't say that it needs to be in place before they expect to finish their contract. Sounds like it's at the tail end of the contract. They're going to give a day of training and then she's on her own or we're on our own, if you will.
Yeah, personally, I don't care about the contractor. I care about us
Got the water off?
No, I understand that.
doing it right. And Barb, I guess it goes back to, oh, John, I'm sorry, do you have any more input?
Keep going with your thoughts, Dave.
Okay, I'm thinking, what are your thoughts about implementing this? If you can do a schedule to let us know what is the best schedule for you with change, since we got the authority to do it. And Jack, do you have a question? Or are you kissing us goodbye?
Well, just, my girls just got home, so,
No, we said hi.
yep.
What I was getting at, Dave, is my feel from what I was reading that, regardless of their thoughts on it, it didn't sound like they were depending on that information to give us a final report. That's the read I got. But I don't-
That's the read I got, but Carl has been dealing with I lost your photo there, but there you go. Carl has been working on it for a while, and we do have to talk to Carl about it. But today, I'd like to be able to say as a committee and with Jack and Barb, let's go ahead and implement this. And what would it take for us, and what's your scheduled timing for it? And think about it. You don't need an answer tonight. Think about it. What do you think of that? And we just lost John.
John.
Because we know we're going to do it, right?
Yeah, I
Right.
feel
Jack, do you have any thoughts on this? Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I do. I think we should get, our billing's always been a difficult situation, and it's cumbersome, it's time consuming, and we're looking to make some progress on the billing. I think we should go full bore and concentrate on getting that system online and inline so that Barb and everyone is comfortable with it before we even consider melding that into the contract. Woodard and Curran, they can either do a report or wait, but it's too much, too fast. Let's get the system settled in-house.
Yep.
Would be my suggestion, and get all the bugs worked out. And if that system is then important to Woodard and Curran in terms of what they want to do for a final report, frankly, I think it takes us way too far into the weeds. But only my opinion. But I don't have a vote, but my vote would be to, let's get the system online and working first.
And which is what my opinion would be as well. So looking at what you've done, Barb, you're estimating 150 hours to do that, which is,
Yeah, and I need to let everybody else know, and I've lost John, so Brett's the only one I'm advising because I had already told you, but
Yep.
our original conversation at the last meeting was between 40 and 50 hours.
Yep.
And when I went back and looked at notes from just May, I had actually figured out more like 10 minutes per meter, and it's 150 hours. So we did increase it. And when I went to Heather to update her on the amount of hours, she is also aware that it is now more than that 40 to 50 originally.
yeah, I mean, like I say, Heather's on board. If
Yeah.
you saw the emails going around, all her concern was, do we have it in the sewer budget, which I know we'll have it somewhere in the sewer budget to pay it. I mean, we're not talking a lot here, but I think we get this behind us. But you got to remember, it's now time for us to start going back into the real business. And again, I'm kind of like waiting for John to come back. But since we've been on the sewer commission, even since the first of the year, we've been doing nothing but rebuilding this division, and we've come a long way. But we have new members. Then the COVID-19 came in. We lost one of our contractors. So there is a lot of good news coming in here, and this would be good to get this done. But after we know that you guys can get it done within that allotted time. So I guess it goes back to you, Barb, and if you can just send an email out to the commission, and let's, like Jack says, go to the wall with it. Let's get it done.
All right. So should I still with Woodard and Curran
I
try
would-
to meet with them, or should we just say we're gonna just wait on this?
After tonight's meeting, Jane, if you need to ask some questions, just review back what we're saying. Send a letter to them that we approve, that we want to get this going. It's going to take X amount of time. Do not be rushed. Do it do it in a professional manner. So if you're saying 150 hours, fine, it's 150 hours. If you're giving us a date of September 1st, I mean, I don't know. That's what we need to know.
And yeah, it'll take a while to get Jane up and running.
Okay.
And she can't work more than 19 hours a week, so it is not September 1st.
Again, we just need some sort of a schedule. Jack, do you agree with what we're doing here?
I agree. Yeah, I think the wood, the I&I has been going on for a long time, and it can wait until we're solid with our billing, particularly if the billing numbers are necessary to pursue the I&I further.
Yep. And I'm just texting John to see if he's coming back.
I was just starting to do that.
I, for one, feel bad that we have to put this on Jane and Barbara with their plates being so full as they are, but I believe it is a necessary item.
You know what? I agree with that too, Brett, but business goes on and we're trying to assist. You only have so many hours and we only have a budget.
And you have RFPs and irrigation meters and all kinds of other things going on at the same time.
Yeah, this is not, and like I said, my big thing now, I'm looking at the a contractor to handle the pumps. That's what I'm looking to do. I mean, that would be a big burden off of this commission's back, and Jack and Barb too. So
I had originally given Carl the end of the year, and that's what he had not really liked. But I'm not saying it will take through the end of the year, but it is not an imminent end of month kind of a thing. That's why I would like to just see if there's anything Woodard and Curran can provide at this point, knowing we don't have what the format is. What we had, and if we want to just look at what they have to offer.
as we're waiting for John, right now we don't have a quorum. The only thing I can tell you is I recommend that you write an email after we're done, send it to the contractor, Curran, and let them know what we discussed. And yeah, we're gonna and get all the help you can from them.
John's having Wi-Fi issues.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to Mike. Do we know what happened to Mike?
He's on vacation. He's driving in. He said he was going to be on board, so he must have got stuck in traffic. I'll send him a text too.
Sean got dragged away.
He's having
Wi-Fi
issues. I know it's real windy out there. I don't know. Oh, it's pretty windy around here.
Don't you love the new world?
You know what? I think it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And we'll see what happens by the end of the year. But it is different out there today in society.
Sure is.
So, Brett, when you get a chance, read Carl's report if you can.
I certainly will. Read the last one in detail, but have not seen the one we got a few minutes ago.
So we'll give it a couple
Just
more.
looking at the, sorry, go ahead.
No, we'll give it a couple more minutes, and if I can't get him back, we'll adjourn.
I was looking at the agenda, wondering what we could cover while waiting, but it's not a lot.
Well, we can't because there isn't a quorum.
Yeah, can't really talk about anything.
I just invited John to come down to the DPW.
You know what? He's coming on board.
Oh, good. There he is.
Okay. This might happen again. I've been having Wi-Fi problems all day.
Hey, well, we're looking for an adjournment, so if you want to vote, we're looking for
Looking for a what?
we're looking for a motion to adjourn. We did everything while you're gone.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to where we are, John. In a nutshell, is we're authorizing Barbara to go ahead and start the project of converting us over. She has 150 hours of budget to do that. She's also got direction from the town manager as far as how to disperse those hours with Jane. And what we're looking for from Barbara as a schedule. And she's gonna have to think about that.
I'm gonna get my billing done first. I'm warning you. So,
Oh, Barbara, you and your billing.
I know.
I know, me and my billing.
But let's do that. But when you have that schedule, please send it to not only us, but send it to Karen and Heather and everybody too, what the schedule is going to be, so they all know. Any questions on that? That'll be a big plus. In the meantime, I just asked Brett and John, I'll ask you to read Carl's notes from the meeting. I know he's put a lot of hours into it.
I was reading them as I was trying to get back on.
Okay,
You're talking about the notes that came today.
that came at 5 o'clock, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're all good, valid points, and I think there's a lot of things in here I'd like to have answers to from Woodard and Curran.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd like to see them get this before the review deadline, which is this Friday.
Yeah, we might extend that out a little bit though, so.
Yeah, actually, we talked about it because Carl had some extensive comments, potentially putting the draft review with possibly Woodard and Curran present onto the meeting on the 25th. And then they would push out the final report to the 11th of September.
I don't have,
There were a lot of changes.
yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Does anyone have a problem with that?
As long as Woodard and Curran agrees with that, because I think I read in one of your email communications, I think it was Barbara, that seemed like if we needed more time than the 14th, they were amenable to that.
Right.
Did I read that?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the one.
I think
suggested
what
the
Carl has written here, they're all extremely valid points, which I would like to have the answers to.
Well, he sent that to Dave, didn't he? Barbara, Carl?
That email that I sent to all of you?
Yes.
I don't think so. He just is providing it to the commission at this point.
I would convey to Carl, send it to them. They got to answer the questions.
Well, I think Carl probably would like
Agree with that.
for the commission to be in agreement with that happening.
Well, I agree with it. I mean, those are questions that they should answer. Does anyone have a question on that? Jack, did you read those notes that Carl sent them?
Didn't get them. I mean, I got them, but I didn't have time to read them now.
Yeah, well, like I said, we just got them a few minutes ago. But John, if we send those out to him and let Carl handle that, I mean, that's what he's been doing since this started. He's the liaison to that company.
Maybe
Right.
we should have a motion in that direction.
Okay. So I'm looking for,
I just scanned those notes pretty thoroughly, and he does bring up some good points.
so I mean, Carl is the liaison. I mean, if he's asking us for his support, I would look for a motion to Carl continue doing it. And I really want to see the report complete, and then we have input. But there's a lot of questions there that Carl has. So I'm looking for a motion.
Well, I think these are questions that should be answered before the final report is done.
Yeah, no, I do too.
I'll make
I
a
mean,
motion that,
one comment, which, you know, I picked up on too, which is kind of interesting, has to do with the SCADA. Because I remember when I first joined the sewer commission, we talked to Woodard and Curran about upgrading all the pump stations.
Yep.
And that the project alone to study how to do that was going to be extremely expensive, let alone doing it.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday myself.
It was a little bit of a shock at the time.
Yeah.
could you repeat that, John?
When I first joined the sewer commission, one of the things the commission was looking at was upgrading all the pump stations with SCADA systems, which gives you an incredible amount of remote information and remote control. Now we have 2 pump stations that have some form of SCADA. But Woodard and Kern is the engineering company that ended up coming in and doing a study to determine what it would cost, what we thought was going to cost to upgrade. And what their study was telling us how much it would cost us to do a full study of how to upgrade. So
Are you kidding me?
we obviously haven't done anything since then, right, Jack? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember it painfully clear. We, this commission, and not this particular commission, but, and this is not an exaggeration, discussed SCADA for 4 years. We discussed grease trap regulations for 7 years. We've now been discussing I&I for 15 years. So it's difficult work, but reverting back to SCADA, I think the commission at the time and commissions that changed over that time have exhausted the question as to whether we're going to go to SCADA or not. So like you, John, I'm surprised because Woodard and Curran's original opinion was we have such small stations, some of them, it really wouldn't be worth the time and the money.
Right.
And now here they are doing an about face many years later. Frankly, I think you must be too. If I never hear SCADA again, it'll be too soon. It's just, we're just not set up for it in town. We've got what we need. Let's please not open up a 5th year of discussions with SCADA.
Yeah.
So I'm in agreement. That's why I was kind of surprised to see this. So.
Yeah, me too. Well, I didn't see it, but Barb mentioned it to me, and it was just like, oh my God. Whew.
John, just for the record, I was the first part of SCADA, and we put it on was it Lancaster Road, the big bump.
It's
You mean Leominster Road?
it's on Leominster Road, and doesn't the one down on 2A have it too, Jack?
I don't know. I know it's Leominster Road, and
Yeah,
it's
I
like
thought it was
having
just
one.
one.
Yeah, I thought it was just one. And I mean, I don't want to beat this to death, but as I reflect back on the years and the boring meetings and the weeds and everything else year after year, enough. We don't want SCADA.
No, I think SCADA is cost prohibitive. So let's move on.
Agreed.
Good choice.
Good choice. I certainly won't bring it up again.
Yeah, don't bring it up, Brett.
Yes, sir.
When we change this around, and we're going to be getting into it in a second, but there will be some changes as far as documentation and stuff like that, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But I think we're all done with the third-party contract draft report, unless anybody else has any questions.
I had a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I read that they did a study back in 2011 as well. Not the whole system, but from what I got, parts of the system. They installed 3 permanent flow meters and 3 temporary flow meters. 3 of the flow meters were permanent. They must still be in place. I had where they were. It mentioned that they didn't see a big problem with I&I at the time, according to that report that I read. So something has happened between then and now. I'm losing my train of thought. I apologize, but I was wondering if those, I guess what I was thinking was those meters that are permanent, are they doing us any good? Are we getting readings off those permanent meters they put in 2011?
Those
what,
are
well,
the
this
hard
is-
flow meters that Flow Assessment does work with. Those we
got 'em
have
right
to
here.
have.
Jack, go ahead.
Brett, the temporary meters were part of a phase of I&I investigation that was laid out by Weston and Sampson.
Oh, okay.
There were a number of meters throughout the town. I think there may have been 7, but it was a while ago. And the metering, the idea of the metering was to identify portions of the tower system where we thought there was the most after a time that it was indicated that that place was down in Whittier. The other 3 meters are still in place, and those are the ones that are at the town line in Leominster, Fitchburg, going to Fitchburg on Summer Street, and going to Fitchburg on Mass Ave. So that's
Yeah,
how
I'm
we
looking-
get our quantities. That's how we get our quantities
You got it, bro.
to those communities.
Sorry, just clarifying a few things.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, I remember when we did those, I think it was in 2010 that we installed those or whatever. Flow assessment was giving us our reports. Is that still happening, Barb?
Flow assessment comes out quarterly to calibrate and maintain the meters, check them. In
But,
fact, they're on our agenda further for their next contract.
and I think, Brett, that's I'm glad you looked into it. You know, you're getting a lot of the history. So that's a good thing. Anything else on that?
On the draft report, I just need to point out that Carl did request or suggest its own special meeting. I just wanted to make sure that that was discussed or decided for or against. He just thought the draft report might take some time to put it on a night of a regular meeting.
I can tell you next week, I won't be around, but John, if you want to run that meeting, I don't have a problem with it. But it's up to you guys. But next week is a busy week as far as my wife and I. It's our anniversary too, by the way.
Aw,
Oh, congratulations.
anniversary.
So if anybody wants to send gifts, send them to the sewer commission here at PW.
We know where to find it, Dave.
You know where to find me. 42 years.
I know.
I hate to bring it up, but I believe we were going to have a motion that never happened
Okay.
regarding Carl.
So I'm just looking for a motion, Brett. Why don't you give me a motion on that?
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to keep Carl as a liaison with our third-party members and to have him move forward with a special meeting with them next week as our liaison.
Okay.
I might want to change that a little bit, that we
Okay.
authorize Mr. Luck to complete the list that was submitted to this committee tonight. John, what do you think of that? Something like that?
I missed a couple words, Dave.
Have authorized Kyle to complete the investigation and the reports that he submitted to us tonight.
Correct. Correct.
Thank you for that.
And then just meet on the 25th. Is that the
25th.
timing?
I would meet on the 25th, but if I know Kyle has a wedding this week, I think. His daughter's getting married, and
Yeah, Wednesday night, tomorrow night.
yeah, congratulations to her. And, you know, I know Kyle's the proud papa. But again, next week I'm kind of out every night, so I don't know what day would Kyle wanted to have that meeting. And I'm just looking at the calendar now. You know, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. So, I mean, if you're going to do it, you might want to do it a week from today, but that's up to you guys. I just know that I'm out, but that doesn't mean you can't do it.
No, just, I'm not sure I could answer my availability tonight regarding next week.
Why don't we talk about it, see what it is, and Barbara, if you talk to Carl before Friday, what day was he looking for? But any day, I might be able to make the 18th, but anything after that, I know I can't. So, and you're gonna have to post it by Friday.
By Thursday, yeah, okay.
So just asking what he thinks.
All right, I will. But now to complete Brett's motion, probably, to keep Carl as the liaison with the third party, have him move forward with the list and work towards setting up the next meeting. Can I say it like that?
Have them continue working forward to answer the questions on the list that were submitted. We're looking for a full report when they're done, not half, but half-baked. So, yes. Did that confuse you?
Well, I've got Carl continue to work as a liaison with the third party, have him move forward with the list that was submitted for answers from Woodard and Curran, and work towards holding a meeting to discuss.
Yes. Anybody, that's fine with me.
As long as when you say the list, you're talking about the items that Carl submitted to us tonight.
Carl's email on
Okay. The list
Carl's
that Carl.
concerns.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm looking for a second.
I will second what I believe to be the motion.
And discussion. So Bob, let's read it one more time.
Made a motion to keep Carl as liaison with a third party, have him move forward with the concerns that were submitted to the commission directly with Woodard and Curran, and work towards holding a meeting to discuss.
I would just change that to Carl's, the list submitted by Carl. We would like Carl to complete that list. Carl gave us that list of stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, we want Carl to go back and give it to the company to get answers on. So we're authorizing them to do that. Is that right, John?
Yes. I'm just wondering if perhaps Barbara could forward it to them, only because, Carl does have a wedding tomorrow. Unless, Barbara, you're confident that, the 14th isn't a firm deadline.
No, I'm certain, but I'd be happy to. I've been part of their email.
Okay, so if Barbara could forward this to it as it is right now, and but also let Carl know.
Yep. Like I said, after this meeting tonight, you will talk to Jane, get the minutes of the meeting, what we talked about, and that's what they're looking for. This is our recommendation. Complete the list that Carl submitted, give you the information so we can get the billing cycle started. You know what I mean? That's everything we're going to send them a letter with. Okay?
I think I heard Jane say yes.
Yeah. You all set?
I think so. I'm just not certain we're going to have a firm date for them for that meter import information.
No, we're not. But let them know that we're going with it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Saying after tonight's meeting, the commission okayed, and we're working on the schedule to get that done. And we would like these answers that Carl submitted to us tonight put in their report. That's what the motion basically is. So you want me to read it to you again? Barb? Okay, so
I keep almost saying the same thing. I just feel like we're going to keep Carl on. He's being given permission to continue as liaison with Woodard and Curran. We're going to forward the list of concerns that he submitted to the commission to Woodard and Curran.
yes,
And work with them to produce another draft report for us to review at a meeting
or
date to be determined.
or to include those questions in the report. That's all.
Well, answers to the question.
Yeah, answers to the questions.
I think we got it. I think we've enough.
That's the motion on the table.
That's the motion on the table.
Okay, I second that.
One question, Jane, do you have it? Do you understand what we're asking for?
Yeah,
You there, Jane?
yes,
Okay, so you understand what we're asking for?
yeah, I do.
Thank you. So you're all set with Jane. Okay. So now I'm looking for a vote. All in favor? Brett?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I for myself. We'll get through this, Barb. Okay, so now you're talking about the sewer system flow monitoring fees. Is that the new contract you're talking about?
Yes. Hold on, let me catch up with where you are. Yep. We've received the flow assessment contract that it really was to go into effect July 1st. I I've asked for it a couple times. It's just, they've been continuing to produce and provide everything I need. So we finally do have the agreement. I think I put it in the packages to everybody. The one for the quarterly maintenance is the same as it's always been, value of $99.60 for the year,
Yeah.
which has also been the same for many a year. I just want to get your approval to sign off on that.
Okay, any questions from the board? Brett?
No questions.
Tom?
No questions.
I don't have any questions. The only comment I have is that I would really like to see one of our members next time to come up and do the flow testing, to be there and see how that works. Mike Knoll thought that was very valuable to see how this works. And so I'll look for a volunteer a little bit later between Brett, John, and Mike.
I've done it. I've already
You've done
spent
it?
time with them a couple times. So.
Okay. I think Brett and when we talk to Mike, this will be valuable for you to learn that stuff as well.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
I'll
Okay.
email when I hear. They usually give us about 48 hours notice.
Yep.
So I will try to email both Brett and Mike and see who can attend.
Okay, great. And the last thing I have there, Bob, is the contract for equipment of the lease equipment, 5,400.
And that is, this is, as we've talked about for actually a couple years, I think the equipment in the meter pits, and Jack, you may be able to weigh in better on this. Flow assessment's always done the right thing and put in what's needed to get us the information that we need. We don't have an agreement necessarily that they are supposed to be doing that. There was options on the table whether we would replace the equipment. A lot of it is coming up for obsolescence by the end of this year. So it's become a crunch to get it done. They provided 3 options to Jack and I don't know, it was several months ago, maybe before budget even began anyway, and we had put the modem upgrades into the budget. So this is the contract to cover that leasing of the equipment, and the total is $5,400 for the year. They repair, replace, stock, all the items that are going to be obsolete by the end of the year will be replaced. So
Is this in our budget?
yes, it was not part of the flow assessment contract because we were keeping that to the 10,000. So that's why I had asked for a separate agreement for the leasing for this year because it wasn't set.
Is it in our budget?
Yes.
Okay.
One of the most important things to consider here is that there's no item that's more important to the billing than the flow meter. All our dollars and cents go through the flow meter. The short story of what's happening with the equipment is that we could purchase the equipment for a somewhat of a lesser cost.
Check.
But they wouldn't readily have whatever. So it behooves us to rent the equipment and so that they can more readily repair it if needed. It's just a better situation.
I have no problem upgrading. Listen, I think we should get all the bells and whistles. I just want to make sure we thought about that as a commission and put it in the budget. That's all.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
you want to vote on that? You want a motion?
Yep. I would like just a motion that you would approve. It's just a signature of whoever the Lunenburg rep is. So either Jack or myself to sign off on these contracts for flow assessment.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the flow assessment monitoring contract and the equipment leasing contract.
Yeah,
Second.
great.
Yep. Need a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
That's right. John?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Okay, the RFP status, station operation and maintenance. And I know we're going to bring Jack's public comment into this in a minute. But Bob, why don't you go ahead with that?
It's out there. It was published. We've gotten 6 responses. The pre-bid conference is tomorrow at 1 via Zoom. It's a virtual conference. So
That's,
it was published in Combis. It was in the Central Register. It was in the Ledger. And people have definitely seen it and have been responding.
That's five more than last time.
no,
Kind of
that,
exciting, actually.
yeah, that's very good news. So tomorrow, how this works is the pre, bid. You may get nobody, to be honest with you, but you have to be you have to make yourself available for questions. Now, I know Jack and Bob are going to be doing that. I really would like one of you guys there. John, have you ever gone through that before? The bidding process and stuff?
Yep.
Okay. And Brett, you've never gone through that, right?
I've never gone through it as the one assessing the bids. I've been a bidder on a project.
So basically what's going to happen is that a bidder may call up and ask clarification. That clarification has to be made aware to all 6 bidders after. So for example, if Brett, you come in and say, you want me to work 9 to 5, those questions have to be recorded. And Jack, let me know if I'm wrong, because I do different kinds of bids. But if guy says, can I work 9 to 5, then all the other bidders have to be known that there was a question that was 9 to 5. Is that correct, Jack?
Right.
So,
And you're also right in assuming that we may get no one. Oftentimes in a pre-bid conference or pre-bid walkthrough, you can get everyone. You may get no one. You guys have done a good job on this RFP, so it can be very clear. But somebody will be taking notes, and like that to be Barb. And if a question's asked, we'll have to record that question and then send the answer, if there is one, out to everybody that has picked up the RFP. And then when they send in the RFP, they have to acknowledge that they have received it.
right. So it's kind of interesting how it works, and I've been involved in 3 or 4 with the town. But this is something that is, I really want to pass this along so that you get an idea how it works. I have enough confidence in Jack and Bob to answer the questions. I also have enough confidence in you guys, but you have to understand the working knowledge of the RFP that we just did. So you want to make sure that you're all on the same page. And our RFP was pretty, what's the word I'm trying to say, efficient. It was pretty good. I mean, all the bids should be coming in pretty good. There shouldn't really be any confusion, but there always is. I mean, in this business, you're always going to have somebody say, you know, what about this and what about that? So if anybody can be on that call, it's going to be tomorrow at what, 12 o'clock?
1 p.m.
1 p.m. I don't know my glasses. 1 p.m. tomorrow. And you're doing it at the DPW?
It's virtual, so there's a Zoom link.
Right, but you're both going to be at the DPW for it tomorrow?
I am.
Yeah.
Okay. So John, Brett, are you guys interested in just being on?
I'm trying to figure out if I can obligate myself to that. What would the expected time frame be?
Could be 1 to 1:10.
It starts at 1. It may not last long. One thing that's important, if you are going to attend, is that this is not a time for us to have a discussion amongst ourselves as to whether item A is this or item A is that. If there's any confusion, we just announced that, you know, we have the question and we'll get back to everybody with the answer. It's better to wait and contemplate and get the right answer than it is to obviously to give them the wrong answer, or that say, for instance, Barb and I are, you know, having this discussion in front of people. No, I think it was that. No, I think it was that. That just can't happen. We can simply say, we'll get back to you. And there have been bids, unfortunately, there have been bids where there's so much of that. This will not be one of them, I don't think, but there's so much of that there's some research that needs to be done, and the answer has to be given, and then it's even with a lot of things I've done, or some of them I've done, is that it extends out the bid date. But it's more important to get everything right than to have somebody misunderstand, or that there be a discussion between commission members or staff, and then it's just all convoluted. So very straightforward, very black and white. This is the answer. If we don't know the answer, we'll get back to you.
It's really that simple, but what it's showing you, and Brett, when you bid out on your jobs, if you bid a government job, you go through the same process. I don't know if you ever bid a government job, but if you
Not a government job, just municipality
okay,
projects.
so when you do, you're made aware of this, on how it works. It's a good learning experience to be a commissioner and say, hey, I've seen this done. And hopefully we won't be doing a lot of these because we'll have good vendors on board. But this is a good opportunity for you to observe it. And one of the members should be there. So what I'm asking is, John, are you available tomorrow for?
Well, you zoom in or you don't. You're there or you're not.
You're there.
At 1 o'clock.
Right,
So
right. I mean, I would have to rearrange something. I mean, I've gone through the process. I view it kind of as we write down their questions and for the most part, get back to them with their answers.
that's
With
it.
the answers. So,
The only thing is that I don't want everybody there. It's only going to be one or two.
right. I guess I'm saying I would rather not commit myself to that tomorrow.
Okay.
I could commit myself to that. My only concern is it will be on my phone. I'm working in towns and I won't be on Wi-Fi. I assume Zoom can still work without Wi-Fi.
No,
Is that possible? No. Okay.
no, I don't think so.
I might be able to talk to the homeowners about it, or I could run home. I'm not too far away.
You know what? Let's do this. Why don't you plan on doing it? And if John can't be there, I'll probably be there anyways. But like I say, it's just one of those things that you want to say you've done, because it's the start of a lot of work. And right now, between Heather, Jack, Barb, and all of us, you got a nice package. It's nice to see that we have, first of all, we have 6 bidders. That's a good thing right there. That means that it's done the right way. It's not thrown together. And 2 is that it's nice to see how you interact with other people. So it's available. The information is here on this agenda. I suggest that if you do get on, to copy the Zoom number and put it on your phone so you can tie in and get into the meeting. So we won't have the same problem.
Okay, so it wouldn't be something Barbara could send me that I could click on.
Unless, Barbara, you want to send everyone the link again?
I will, yes.
Because
That'd be great.
this on here.
I'll make it a point. I'm not working too far from home. I'll make it a point to get here for 1, and I'll be on there.
Okay. And then from there, it goes through the bid process, and the bids are due on, 8/21 at noon. And we awarded the start on 9/1. So this is nice. This is very nice. This is a good thing, guys. Any questions on that? Jack, do you have any questions on it, or you cool with what we just talked about?
No, I'm good with what you just talked about. You know, good to see, but it's cumbersome. I think the procurement process generally is cumbersome, and this is an example of that. Whereas if you're in private industry, you'd pick out a person and wheel and deal and get the deal that was good for both people. In the municipality, it's not like that. So there's very strict regulations, and we'll have to follow them. We'll have our time. The commission will have their time to discuss with the potential bidders. I think that's part of the RFP process.
We are running into this more and more in the commercial field as well, the RFPs in the same process. So this is a good thing. Okay, no questions. We're going to move on. Bright Farms, Barb.
Yep, I had worked on getting back to them with some connections and permit fee information. They have, and inviting them to a meeting. Unfortunately, he just responded yesterday or this morning. So we've got them on the agenda on the 25th. So Bright Farms will be coming in to discuss the project with the commission on the 25th.
Very good.
Yeah.
And that's a regular schedule tonight, right?
Correct.
Any questions, guys, on Bright Farms?
No,
Questions?
Okay. Barb, grease trap
trap.
program status.
Just that the letters had gone out. They were due back by August 15. I've received 7 out of 19. I did receive one thank you, acknowledging the commission's compassion by waiving the fees for the year. So I just wanted to pass that along.
Good.
And then the first Tuesday reports, I don't have them for August. I've just been kind of working on other things.
Okay. Any questions, guys?
No
No.
questions.
Okay, next one's year-to-date 2000 budget.
2020 budget has the monies that I know of that we'll be spending for 2020, not including, well, actually, those are all both FY19. So that 2020 budget that was in your package is pretty much the final numbers for us for the year.
So
All
we
my
look good.
FY20 bills have been entered.
Okay. So we look good for fiscal 20 then, right?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, any questions?
No questions. I'm pretty happy to see the numbers are expected numbers.
Well, the tough part's coming up, guys, so we got to be prepared.
Yeah.
Minutes for 7/28. I'm looking for a motion to approve.
I reviewed them. I had no qualms with them. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
Second.
as typed.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Brett?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye for myself. By the way, guys, I'm calling you on the way you're scheduled on my TV, so that's why, you know. Business discussions, Barb.
That's kind of your bailiwick there, sir. I noted that you have hopes to discuss the legal policy possibly on our next agenda.
Yeah, we talked with town management and Heather about our policy for legal counsel, and we made up a new policy. I think you're going to see other commissions do it as well. We'll send that out to you guys next week for approval. I'd like to get a consensus on everyone and see if you guys agree. But Barb will put that in the package next week. Any questions on that, guys?
No.
Any other
No
business?
questions.
Any other business discussions you want to talk about? That's why this category is there. Any questions on anything? Okay, let's move on. Business manager report.
Originally, we were hoping to do a public hearing on the irrigation meter policy at this meeting, but because of timing, the ad has to go into the ledger and be in there for 5 business days. So it went in last Friday, and we'll be giving enough notice to be in there on the 25th. And then we'll do it again for the 8th. It has to appear based on our own regulations, 2 public hearings to review or change a policy. So it'll be on the next meeting. And just to review, it's just a change of name and then updating it with the fees and repercussions if the fees are unpaid, because it hadn't been spelled out. I did actually, when I looked at it and was posting putting the posting for the ledger, just saw a few like typos. We didn't change A to or and to A when we removed irrigation, etc. Little tiny changes that I will propose on the 25th. So
Thank you, Barbara.
another edition. There are no invoices that was on the agenda in case they were received, but none have been received. So we'll move over that one. Under communication, I just wanted to let everybody know that I did update the website with a couple things, both having Mike DeVakis join us. The RFP is reflected, the election of the officers, and the proposed deduct meter policy changes. So the agenda was updated. The agenda, the posted agendas and approved minutes have been sent out to department heads. I have not heard any feedback most recently.
Okay.
And I think lastly, Heather had sent out an email to everybody about buildings are reopening. They'll be open between 10 and 2 with appointments.
Okay.
Just so you know, masks are required, 6-foot distance is still
Starting
required.
when?
But starting yesterday, the 10th, I think. But they do still want an appointment because they need to control the numbers that come into the building. Town Hall and Ritter will have like one-way signs, come in the front door and go out the side doors.
Okay. Well, that's kind of good news anyways. Again, some kind of normalcy back.
Yep, we're getting somewhere.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Any questions from the commission on Barbara's reports? No? Okay. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Okay. Do we have any public comment from the public? I see no one.
Well, I did actually want to add something for future meetings. I would like to put what Jack mentioned about his public comment up for discussion in future meetings. I think it's something well worth talking about.
Well, that's an automatic. So Bob, you got that.
Okay.
And when
Just wanted to make it official.
same thing, Brett, when you ask for something to be put on the agenda, it's automatically put on.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Unless we can talk about it that night for some reason, but
Sure.
So
I got it. Moving
Specifically-
along.
I think it's, Dave, I think it's up to the, and you could, I mean, I think anybody that wants to talk about anything that's not unreasonable. But I think, as chairman, you set the agenda with Barb, that we had this issue before, people were getting carried away. So it's the chairman really that sets the agenda with the business manager. Not that people cannot have a say, but unfortunately, people can't be calling in all week and say, I want this on the agenda, I want that on the agenda. So this is the appropriate time, comment by the commission, or that they'd like to see something on the agenda. But am I right, Barb?
Yes, thank you. It sounds
So
familiar.
the chairman, you, Dave, presently, it's incumbent upon you to collect that information, and you're the person that sets the agenda.
oh, well noted, Jack. But usually when we do have a meeting like this and we're talking and somebody requests something to be on the agenda.
No question, no
Yeah.
question about it. It's just that, what's been difficult for Barb in the past with certain members that just, email, I want this on the agenda, and then,
No,
I want that on the agenda. And it sort of, it gets out of control. But this,
No, I know where you're going with that, Jack, and I appreciate that. But
Yep.
when we have a meeting like this, and you and I mean, we're all friends here, and we're also business partners. So if you have something on the agenda that we all agree with tonight, sure. But after that, emails to Barbara and stuff, I have no problem with members sending her an email if they have a question with what they're assigned or what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, and I think Barbara, you and I have been working on trying to curb some of that now, as far as sticking to the point of the business, and we're going to continue to do it that way. But Jack, I know what you're saying. Your point's well taken. Thanks. I appreciate that.
And I do channel most everything through Dave, obviously.
Well, I mean, we've been through a lot already, and the business has changed so much since March 15th. And we're getting back on track, and that's a good thing. I'm very happy with progress that we're doing with our business plan, trying to get everything back. So, and again, we have good people. So, any other public comment, John?
I just actually have a quick question for Jack, if it's all right.
Sure.
Are any of the wipes you're seeing in the pump stations making their way down to the flow meters? I get maybe the next time flow is there, we'll know.
I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I have an answer to that.
I was just
don't know
curious.
that, John, but I think the next time that we have the flow meters attended to,
We'll find out, right?
Well, yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out. There's a lot of drop manholes and obstructions in the line that, maybe in time that would happen. I think they either get chopped up successfully or they jam up the impellers.
Yeah.
It's I mean, naturally it's distasteful, but Al is the person that always sends photographs. But it's just like you might imagine times 10.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
John, thanks for bringing that up because I had two questions with that. One, Jack, if you could, take a look at the costs, and if you could send an email to Heather and ask her if any of these costs can be recouped by the SAFE Act that's going on, just to find out, because it's not caused by normal wear and tear, it's caused by COVID-19. So some of this may be covered, and that would be
Yeah, I'll certainly ask her.
Yeah.
I think it might be difficult to differentiate between the amount of wipes used during COVID and outside, but you know what? It's worth a question. And when we do finally apply for reimbursement, and if we do have some reimbursement coming, it's something. If it's acceptable, we'll do it. It's a good question.
I appreciate that. And the other comment that you made, what was the other comment you made? I don't have my note. I know I was going to ask you something else.
About the jetting?
Oh, the jetting. I agree. And that's something is that part of our maintenance plan, which we're going to have to start to attack probably in the third quarter?
I think it's most definitely part of the maintenance plan, but I don't believe that it's specific to how much, how often, or since. But I could be wrong there. It's something that we should continue to do and that we should do more of, regardless of the cost to a point, because it does help us significantly, not only in the flow of the sewer, but what's happening down here.
Intelligence of the health of the sewer system.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to need it when we have a new company on board, and I'm in favor of the maintenance plan. I still think it needs input between Barbara, Jack, and Heather. Is that correct, guys? You guys are still looking at it?
Yeah, we're still looking at the maintenance program. I don't know, I, for one, have not spent a lot of time looking at it lately, but that can wind up shortly after we get the RFP and, put that in the queue.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking to do that in the third quarter. Start looking at it anyways, but we still, I know, talking with town manager today, she's very busy working on FEMA and grants and the COVID grants. So I know it's very tough right now. So, but hopefully, like I say, together we'll get all through this. And we've done a lot already, which I'm happy with. I'm looking forward to getting the new contractor on board. Okay, any other public comment? Our upcoming meeting schedule will be August 12th. That's 1 p.m., which is tomorrow, and that's going to be the virtual conference with our O&M and for the RFPs. August 25th will be our regular meeting, remote participation until further notice, and September 8th. It's hard to believe it's already September, 5 o'clock, regular meeting. When is Labor Day, Barb? That's the Monday before, right?
Yes, it's the 7th.
Okay, which is late this year. So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
No motion.
Seconded.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Mr. Ramsden?
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much and be safe.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
You too.